Welcome, welcome. Mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, gender. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, everyone. We are live. Oh, yes, we are. On a very serious note this morning, what are you anchored to? You see, if you watch plants, especially the vines, the runners, like my hops, it's firmly rooted in the ground. Oh, yes, it is. But it has reached out its fronds and it is anchored to my patio furniture. Oh, yes, indeed it is. If you watch squash or you watch melons or pumpkins, they have they're little tiny curly fronds. To us, they're not very strong because they break easily, but if you watch them, it's like they have a mind of their own. They anchor themselves to something so that they have a secure way to grow. That's what they do, right? The reason why the anchor is important. Look at boats, eh? Look at boats. They go out to sea and you drop anchor so that the boat remains where you put it. In spite of, how the waves move. They undulate back and forth, back and forth. They just rock with this rhythm, That's what happens when you go to the pier, the marina. The boats are anchored. Lovely, Eliza. Now, in your life, my life, what are you anchored to? If something is happening to you, if you are going through something, what keeps you secure? What's keeping you secure? Let me tell you something. It's not your best friend. Even though it's nice to be able to pick up the phone and call someone, it's not them. What if they are unavailable? Then what? What if there isn't anyone you can call? What are you anchored to? The reason I am asking you this question is because there's a lot going on in the world. Mentally, a lot of people are hurting. Do you understand? Mentally, a lot of people are in pain. And sometimes the first thing they say is, no one is there for me. I can't turn to anyone. You see, our whole existence, we are taught to turn outside, to look to someone to assist you. Right? Now, don't get what I'm saying twisted. When you are going through what you're going through, we're going to encounter people. We just are. And those people are moved. They're moved by you to assist. Now, they're moved by you to assist them because of what you have anchored yourself to. Okay? I know growing up, my grandfather and my father would say, especially my dad, because he's an identical twin. They rolled around in the same sack, people, but they're born one at a time. So my father always said, you've got no one in the world but yourself. And my granddaddy always said, you can only rely on you. I never understood that because my grandfather went through a very great abandonment at a very young age. Severe abandonment. His mother died and his father was like, what? I am up out of here. Abandonment. And a lot of what people say is, humans are community-based, and we are. We like to hang out together, we laugh together, we eat together. That is fine. But that should not be your foundation. Why not? Because what if your friend says, I don't want to be your friend anymore? What are you going to do? Is your life going to be over? Well, then you're anchored to the wrong thing. You anchor yourself to something that does not change. You anchor yourself to something that is symbiotic for you, meaning it knows and it will feed you in those times of trial. You anchor yourself to something that is not man or man-made. Why? Listen, I want you to grasp what I'm saying today. I'm not saying you shouldn't have friends. That's not what I'm saying to you. I am saying to you, friends are perfectly fine. But there has to be a place within yourself that you can turn to strengthen yourself. Yeah, you've got to be able to turn within yourself. Well, of course, it's the principles. Of course, it's the law. We've got to be able to turn inward at any given time. And trust me, some of us are really going through it. Now, I don't want you to get caught up in spite either. Spite is dangerous. Why is spite dangerous? Because if you are holding the spite, even though you think you are directing it to someone, let me explain what spite is. So if you say you're having a hard time and someone comes along and says, yeah, but there's a way that you can get through this. And you say, oh yeah, well, you've never dealt with this. I wish you would have to suffer like this to understand what it was like. That is spite. To want someone to suffer with you is spiteful. Why? Because you know that it doesn't feel good. You know how tough that thing is to bear, but yet you want to inflict it upon someone so they can be with you. When you do that, remember the principle of correspondence. As within, so without. You are the one carrying it, so you have to bear the brunt of it, not the person you are looking at. See, this is how we deceive ourselves. We are looking on the outside, feeling what we feel on the inside, and expecting that person to crumble because we feel what we feel and we're looking at them. When in actuality, what you are holding in your bosom will affect only you. Trust me, I learned that. Oh, I learned that. Right? So this is why when you anchor yourself to the principles, The principles tell you, listen, you're going through it right now. Look at the effect. What's the cause? This is what the principles say to you. What is the cause of this that you are dealing with right now? And the principles will tell you, as within, so without. The principles will say to you, it is your inner attitude. Change your perspective of this thing. There's a little tiny scripture that says, I count it all joy. Yeah, what does that mean? It doesn't mean that you take pleasure in punishment. It doesn't mean that you take pleasure in suffering. That's not what it means. I count it all joy means you look at your situation and you say, wait a minute. This can't rule my life. Let me change my mental attitude here. And you start to change your mental attitude. And lo and behold, because you have changed your mental attitude, how did you change your mental attitude? You changed your mental attitude by looking at the present effect you are dealing with. What is it? Is it loneliness? Is it abandonment? Is it pain? What? So when you start to look at it, you say, well, I feel abandoned. I feel like nobody wants me. Oh, and then the principles say to you, you feel as if no one wants you? Is that how you want to feel? Or do you want to feel wanted? And you say, well, I want to feel wanted. So if you were wanted, what would be that evidence? First of all, you look at not being wanted looks like you don't have anybody around you that cares for you. So being wanted would mean you have people around you that care for you. So if you had people around you that cared for you, what would your attitude be? What would your attitude be? The moment you mentally engage in what your attitude would be if you were wanted, you flip a switch. You literally go from that mental anguish to relief. But you see what we do? We feel the sting of abandonment. And we get so caught up in the sting of the abandonment that now we're carrying the sting of abandonment. And it hurts. So now we're walking with the hurt. We're seeing the world through the lens of the hurt. The hurt that you feel is telling you where your mind is and what you are looking at. That's what the hurt is telling you. And what do? We fully engage with the hurt, thereby doing what? Exacerbating the hurt, making it bigger. See, this is the part of the cycle that nobody tells you, that nobody shows you. There's nothing wrong with tears and crying because we're human and we feel. We feel. Oh, yes, we feel. But in your feeling, you must remember that what you are feeling is telling you where you are mentally. And because it is showing you where you are mentally, you have this window of opportunity to decide, look, I know this stuff hurts. Yes, it does. But you know what? I'm not going to walk with hurt. What would it be like? Or what would it be like? What would it feel like if this situation were different? The moment you engage with that, the pain begins to wane. the pain begins to lessen. Don't come for me this morning. I'm not about oppression Olympics. I keep telling you there's a reason why I don't tell you what I've been through. Because what good is it? You knowing what I've been through does not make what you are going through any better. It just makes you feel like you're not alone. But you are not alone. You need to know that part. You see, because sometimes when we say, yeah, but they came through it, why should that be something that makes you feel you can come through it? You need to know that you can. What if 100 people did not come through it? You're going to be 101. So then that would mean you are anchoring yourself to the experience of someone else to inspire you to say, well, you know, if George can do it, so can I. That is not the way. If you are going through something today, you need to know that as within, so without. If I look at this situation and I say, wait a minute, I don't want this situation. You look at that situation, you name it, you say, what? I'm dealing with this? No. What would my life be like if I was not dealing with this? What's one thing I would be doing if I was not dealing with this? And you begin to see what that one thing is. And you begin to rehearse that one thing that you would be doing if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. You rehearse that. And then the pain ends up being some way back there in the back of your mind. And then you begin to see your exterior circumstances. You go, holy cow, what a coincidence. I needed this to happen and there it is. The moment we engage with the pain that we feel, like it's so visceral, it really is. You feel it in your whole body. You feel that abandonment, you feel that rejection, you feel it. But if you can remember that a person is entitled to their preferences. Oh, I like the color purple. I like the color blue. If you wear yellow and I say, oh, I don't like yellow, what does that have to do with you? It is just my opinion. So if I say I don't like you, what does that have to do with you? They're just telling you where their mental attitude is. So you see, they're not rejecting you. Oh, it looks like they are because I don't like you. I don't want to be around you. They are not rejecting you. They're telling you there's something within them that causes them to not like this thing. It is within them. But when someone says, oh, I don't like you, what's the first thing oh, how could you not like me? I'm so nice. I'm so cute. How could you not like me? Because it has nothing to do with you. So the sting of hearing, I don't like you, put it into perspective. They are showing you their inner selves. Just like you show the world your inner self. And I've been told, Angela, that is cold. Angela, that's insensitive. I'm saying to you, your experience is valid. Why is it valid? Because it is showing you yourself. It is showing you what's happening. Someone said to me, but I didn't walk down the street and ask for that. We do not ask for things by name. When we engage with an emotion habitually, we are asking for the same energy of that thing. Joy is not limited to just, yay, I got money. That's not joy. Joy is not limited to one experience. Joy is the knowing that you can free yourself from any situation. It's what it is. It's the knowing. If you say, well, I got peace. I got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I got peace like a river in my soul. Yeah. If you say you've got peace, if you walk down the street, you encounter what? Peaceful situations. Other things that show you peace. If you have angst or anxiety within, you encounter anxiety-filled situations. It doesn't matter what the situation is. What matters is the feeling behind that situation. So we don't ask for things by name. We ask for things by feeling. We ask for things by feeling. I want to feel loved. I want to feel accepted. I want to feel appreciated. What does that feel like? To generate the feeling. Because right now you're in a feeling, are you not? Isn't that funny how we say, oh, you're all in your feelings? When you feel something, depending on how that thing makes you feel, you will act. So if you feel as if you've been hurt by someone, you feel wounded. Now, I want you, in your vast reservoir of memories, to find in your mind's eye where something was injured and it just, there's every, dolphins will do it, right? They'll come fetch you and take you where you're going to help them. But most animals, if they are wounded, they attack you, do they not? Why? Because they see themselves as vulnerable, so they have to protect their vulnerability. That is why. We do it. So if you feel wounded or hurt, you feel vulnerable. And if you feel vulnerable, you will be aggressive to protect yourself. Whether verbally or physically, but you will be aggressive. So the way you feel is what prompts you to act. So if you're walking with the pain, instead of looking at the pain and hearing what it's saying to you, we do it with our bodies. If you have a pain somewhere, you're like, oh my God, I have a pain. What do? Mask it. You take a pill. You mask the pain. You do not listen to what it is saying. Is it pain or is it referred pain? Is it pain radiating coming from somewhere else to a particular spot? You must recognize the type of pain you are dealing with because it's telling you something.